Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you guys for joining me again. My name is Wilky and we are here with the secret Servitor boss fight. This is going to be a guide though. We're going to be taking a look at all of the mechanics and all of the stuff that is going on in order to explain what you can expect from this fight. Now we do have the get toughened and penetration surge modifiers, but they usually aren't really altering the boss fight altogether. Now the very first thing is you start off and you can see that you're accumulating the Shadow Corrosion debuff. Once you have 10 stacks of these, you actually start taking damage. So the very first thing in this boss fight here, or the very first goal, is to kill these mobs here, because they will drop these yellow orbs. And with these glow balls, once you throw them at a pillar, this pillar will be then illuminated, and that gives you the corrosion prevention, or rather protection, as well as giving you HP and sanity recovery. Now you can see that all of the targets here are dropping these orbs, so what we're going to be doing is killing these guys. And a lot of people will typically not illuminate more than one pillar. The main reason for that is, in terms of mechanics, you don't need to do this. So it doesn't really change anything except for one thing later on. But for the sake of showcasing why we do this, we're going to be doing all of the pillars here. Another thing with the glow balls is that for some reason there is a sort of damage buff that you can get by throwing the orbs, or 4 orbs, at a pillar. I'm not sure if this is intended or why this isn't documented very well. And you see this orb didn't really target this time, so usually I try to go like halfway, and then that usually does the trick. And now this is the last one. We're just going to be walking over there. You see that you have a little bit of time before those stacks are like super high accumulating, so you're not in a huge rush compared to some other mechanics, right? We're just going to be dealing with these guys, and then we're pretty much targeted by one of the attacks that you have to deal with, and that is this black cloud. Now the only thing you can do against this is just run away. There's unfortunately the only thing that you can do. It will chase behind you. You can see that it's now following me. It's fairly slow though, so just running away will do the trick. Other than that, this boss has a very prominent weak spot, so we're going to be dealing with that. The second attack that you have to worry about is the black tornado. Similar to the black cloud, this one's chasing after you, but it's usually not as annoying, so the black cloud is by far the worst one. There's these crystals that are thrown at you, but they usually don't really pose as a threat. And lastly, once the Servitor cuddles down, you can see that we're now getting these orange dots around us, because there is lightning that is targeted at us. And that is it for all of the attacks that are happening in the very first phase. You can see we have a black tornado again, and once it's there, if you are tanky enough, or if your damage is good enough, then you may just as well stick to the boss and start dealing with it. But since we're here to explain the mechanics, this is where we're going to take a look at. Alright, once you drop the first 2 HP bars off the boss, you're going to be teleported into a second zone. In this zone, there's 3 attacks. The first one are these little tornadoes here. These hitboxes are very, very strange, so don't be confused if you get hit by some of this. This is a very likelihood. The second attack you can already see here are these lightning strikes, and the third one are going to be lasers that are coming from either left to right or top to bottom. Now I personally recommend not using over the shoulder mode here, because you need all the visuals that you can get in order to make sure to not get hit. Similar to the first phase, this one here has 3 heads, and all of these can be a weak spot, and you can see that there was a little glow that indicated that the weak spot has changed, so this is something you need to be paying attention to. Here's an example of what happens when you get hit by the tornado, so it's in your utmost interest to not get knocked down by these. So once you dealt enough damage, that is the next 2 HP bars of the boss, you will be sent back to the very first area. And now the clip here showcases what happens if you only light one of the pillars and the mechanic claps, and that shockwave here will freeze you in time. You can also see the way to deal with this is just summon your Wolfie deviation, and that typically takes care of any of the mobs, which is why most people usually don't bother with illuminating all 4 pillars. And now here's the same thing with an illuminated pillar, and you can see that the shockwave dampens out the light, but I will not be frozen in time. And the pillar that you get sent to is completely random, so if you only illuminate one pillar, there's a 25% chance that it's going to be the right one, but as I showcased already, summon your wolf and you're good to go. So now we're here with the final fight of the boss, and we're similar here in first phase. We're going to illuminate the pillars in order to get rid of the debuff, and then we're going to start shooting the boss. If your DPS is not high enough, you will actually be sent back to the second area. I'm just going to fast forward to that point, and I'll catch you guys there. If your DPS is high enough, then you can kill the boss here, right now. Being sent back to the second area, this one's a bit different. There's gonna be these looming white tornadoes on the left and right side, so you gotta be more centered about this. And you can already see there is a lot of visual clutter in this phase, so make sure that your movement is on point, that you don't get zapped by anything, and you just shoot the corresponding weak spot. As I can tell you here, it's not about stress, it's just about maintaining your composure. And after that, you're good to go. And that is the Secret Servitor on Pro Mode, without any cheesy mechanics, without any super duper high-end speed. Everybody can do this, ideally with a weak spot gun with some decent range, but even shotgun users can do this just fine. I do hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions or any requests, then feel free to let me know. And I'll see you guys next time.